Review question number 11. Solve the following. Graph the solution set and write your answers in interval notation. All right, perfect. So the first one, we have 1 plus 7x is greater than or equal to negative 3 times x minus 7. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to distribute on the right side of the inequality here the negative 3. So we're going to have 1 plus 7x here on the left side. We're going to take negative 3 times x. That's going to give us negative 3x. And then negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. We want to gather all of our x's on the same side. I like the left side for that, so let's do that. So it's 7x on the left already. We're going to bring the negative 3x over. It's going to become positive 3x. It's still greater than or equal to. On the right side, we had 21 over there. And we're going to bring over the 1, which becomes negative 1. So this gives us 10x on the left is greater than or equal to 21 minus 1, 20 on the right. If we divide both sides by 10, we're going to find that x is greater than or equal to 2. All right, so if we draw a number line for this, and somewhere here is 0, somewhere here is 2, the x points the way. As long as x is on the left, remember, it points the way. So our 2 is nice and shaded in here, and then we shade everything to the right, all the way here to positive infinity, which means that our answer for this one, let's go on the top right corner here, is 2 comma positive infinity. Remember, infinities always get rounded brackets, but in our case, because there's an equal sign and our 2 was shaded in, our 2 gets a nice square bracket for that. All right, for part B, we have a absolute value. All right, so the first thing for our absolute value is we need to put the absolute value by itself. So the 7 that is next to our absolute value needs to go to the right side. So in other words, it's going to be absolute value of x minus 7. Our inequality has not changed, and we're going to have 13 minus 7, also known as 6. So we have absolute value of x minus 7 is less than or equal to 6. And once we have that, then we can apply our rules from absolute value, which say that the x minus 7 is going to be in the middle of an inequality that has 6 on the right and negative 6 on the left. All right, now we want to add 7 to everything here. So 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to give us x in the middle. It's going to give us 13 on the right, and it's going to give us positive 1 here on the left. And so if we draw our number line onto the right side over here, so where we're going to have 1 and 13, so let's put 0 right about there. Here's 1, and here's positive 13. X is somewhere between those values, so we're going to shade everything in between those. There is an equal sign to that as well, so that means that 1 is shaded in, as well as 13 being shaded in, which means our answer is going to be 1 comma 13, and we're going to have square brackets around each part of it. All right, and then finally for part C here, again, we have another absolute value. So first thing is we want that absolute value to be by itself. So we're going to have 9x plus 3. We're going to shift the 6 to the other side. So it's going to be 12 minus 6, which of course is still 6. All right, and so in this absolute value, the way we solve it right is the first thing we do is basically just lose the absolute value sign. So 9x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 6 is one thing to solve. The other one is over here, 9x plus 3, but this time less than or equal to negative 6. All right, in both cases, we're going to move the 3 over, so it's going to be 9x by itself on the left. Here it's going to be 6 minus 3, 9x. Over here, we're going to have negative 6 minus 3. This has 9x less than or equal to negative 9. This has 9x greater than or equal to positive 3. Then we're going to divide 9 on both sides. So on the left-hand side, we're going to have x is greater than or equal to 3 over 9. We know that is the same as x is greater than or equal to 1/3. Now, then on the right side here, we're going to have x is less than or equal to negative 9 over 9, which tells us x is less than or equal to negative 1. All right, so we need a space for a number line here. So let's just do it right to the right of this. And we've got x is greater than 1/3, and we've got negative 1. So somewhere here is 0, somewhere here is 1/3. To the right, somewhere to the left is negative 1. So on the first one, we're greater than or equal to 1/3. So again, we're going to shade in 1/3, and we're going to shade this one all the way to positive infinity. For negative 1, we are less than or equal to negative 1, and so we were going to shade in the negative 1 and shade all the way out here to negative infinity. And then we have our answer, right? Our answer is going to be a two-part answer. Right below here, we're going to say negative infinity, comma, -1, and then 1/3 positive infinity. Remember, infinities always get rounded brackets to it. In our case, both the -1 and the 1/3 are shaded in, so we have square brackets for those. And then in between here, we have the u. So there we have it, number 11 from the review pack.